Here's a here's a good question.
Yeah.
Will summer be canceled?
Summer is not canceled. Summer is not canceled.
Testing, testing, 1 2 1 2. This is Councilmember Girmay Zahalai here with.
School Board Director Brandon Hersey representing District 7, which is Southeast Seattle.
So, Brandon, an unprecedented public health crisis has swept our planet. It's been leading all levels of government to take dramatic actions that are disrupting people's everyday lives. One of those dramatic actions has been our state closing down public schools in several counties across our state, including Seattle Public Schools.
Yep.
You are a school board member of Seattle Public Schools. Can you first just give us a high level of where we're at right now with school closures?
You know, it's never an easy decision for school closures to occur, and I think Seattle in so many ways really led the charge on this, prioritizing our students. And that being said, with things happening so quickly, it is incredibly important that we have community input. And I just really want to give a shout out to the students over at Franklin and at Rainier Beach for holding our administration accountable, especially when it comes to closing schools.
The first question that most people have been asking me is, there are so many students who rely on free and reduced lunch programs at schools. Now that schools are being closed until April 24th, what do those students who rely on the food from their schools do?
Absolutely. So there was just a list released of 26 different sites where you're going to be able to go and receive lunch services from 11 to 1 p.m. if I'm not mistaken. Just keep in mind that this information is always subject to change depending on the situation or what's going on that day. We're going to post the link to those schools, not only for the Southeast region, but for citywide at the description of this video. And I also know that for so many of our students who are food insecure, that lunch is not going to be enough. There are going to be several other community-based organizations with which the district is partnering. And so there will be formal information coming out about those partnerships and what those look like in the coming days. And that is all going to start this Monday. So make sure that you're keeping an eye out for that. I believe the actual date of that is Monday, March 16th. So we will be providing food at those various sites. Just keep an eye out for information about breakfast and other available resources from the district website.
Is there going to be transportation available for young people who are unable to get to the sites where there's going to be lunch?
That's a really good question, and we just don't have an answer for you right now on that. I know that we as a district are talking about what does food delivery services look like to our community-based organizations, to major housing complexes. We don't have any clear answers for this, and you know, I want everyone to know that these are questions that we're thinking about, but we also want to make sure that we're sharing good information when we have the answers for it. So again, I know that I'm going to be staying in close contact with Girmay. We're going to be staying in close contact with many other elected officials, but most importantly, we're going to be staying in close contact with you as the community.
If you didn't go to school for the past week and missed the test, how would you make it up?
So that's a conversation that you're going to have with your educator, your teacher, on an individual basis. I wish that I had more clear guidelines for you, but what I would do is go ahead and start those conversations now. We are going to do everything we can to accommodate you and just continue to stay in touch with your teachers to see if there are any opportunities for any work to be done at home.
And just to clarify, are there plans for online classes at the moment?
To my knowledge, yes, there are plans for various levels of online learning. Like I said, we don't have any specifics right now. We're still working out the details of what that looks like. We want to make sure that we're getting and putting out good information primarily. So as soon as we know, you will also know.
How will students make up for the missed time during this period?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. And what I know as a teacher down in Federal Way is that there is no possible way that we're going to be able to make up this 6 weeks, right? There's definitely going to be some time made up until June 19th. It could possibly be longer than that. We just don't know what the plan is going to be. Right now, our primary focus is making sure that we are stopping the spread of this virus, and then we will be having further conversations. But you in no way should expect to make up this full 6 weeks.
If parents have to work and now their students are at home, will there be accommodations for childcare?
Yeah, so that is a question that we're wrestling with as a district right now. I know that Dr. Keisha Scarlett, who is over equity and strategic partnerships for our district, her team is actively working to tap community-based organizations to figure out what does childcare look like. We are working diligently to figure out a solution. So again, that's just another one of those areas where you're going to have to stay tuned.
What can students do to get involved in helping their communities right now?
First and foremost, reach out to a community-based organization that you work with. I know that for so many of our community-based organizations, folks like Africatown, the EAC, so many others, they are just strapped, not only for resources, but for also just help in a time like this. And especially in times like this where things are just really confusing, having as many bodies as possible in an organized way is really helpful. So reach out to those organizations. I know that there are plenty of people who are going to be looking for help, whether it be meal distribution, child care like we talked about, or just being there to be supportive in situations where you might have kids that are in childcare services. Reaching out, sending an email, asking how you can help. People are definitely looking for that type of support.
And I will just add one more thing. One way you can be helpful as students is to stay healthy.
Yeah.
Do not get sick.
That's your that is your number one
job.
concern.
Because young people are not in the demographic who are going to die from this virus, right? But you can carry it and you can spread it to other people who are vulnerable, to your grandparents, to people whose immune systems are compromised, and that can be deadly for them. So if you practice all of the things that our public health officials have been telling you, don't go to large gatherings.
Wash your hands.
Wash your hands. Wash your hands.
Wash your hands.
Social distancing. I know I'm standing a little bit close to him right now, but you got to give him,
right.
give him the Heisman a
right,
little bit.
Exactly.
What will happen to students in high school taking AP classes? Will they be able to take the AP exams?
I think that for many organizations like the SAT, like the ACT, like the various AP programs, we are in communication now to figure out what does the solution look like. We're not only dealing with this in Seattle, this is becoming, like I said before, a global pandemic, and it's spreading to the far reaches of this country. And so many people have that same exact question, and I know that it has been brought to the attention of these various agencies. As we have more information, we will continue to answer those questions, but why this conversation is really important is that we're elevating these very questions not only to the district but to the state and these agencies themselves so that we can get the answers that you need in order to proceed accordingly.
What will happen to spring sports?
As of right now, everything until the 24th is canceled.
Okay.
So if it falls within that time range from now to April 24th, I would not expect it to occur. I think that things will be rescheduled and postponed on an individual basis. So my recommendation would be to stay in close contact with your coach, whoever is the point person for your organization, your team, your club, whatever it might be, and just continue to ask that question, continue to stay informed because, information is going to move quickly. I know a lot of people are concerned about what's happening for their specific team or their specific club, but the best advice that I can give you is just stay in contact with your coach.
And say that that students do return right on April 24th. Do you have a sense for how long into the summer the school year could last?
At least until the 19th of June. There's going to be the expectation that some days are made up, but that is going to vary district by district. So we don't know exactly when that is going to happen. Like we said before, our main priority is making sure right now that we're containing this epidemic and this pandemic across our country and our world. And so as we get a handle on the global health implications of all this, then we'll start talking about, okay, how do we get back to some sense of normalcy and what does the completion of the 2019-2020 school year look like?
Hey, I'm really concerned that there isn't any free childcare for folks who need it. I hope the school districts are compiling a list of sources for free and low-cost childcare to refer parents to.
We're doing that right now, and that has been a huge concern of mine as well. I have been in conversations with multiple district officials getting answers to that very question. We're organizing it, it's coming, and we know that it is a huge priority for a lot of our families. So please, we hear you, we understand, and that information is coming soon.
Are seniors still on track to graduate on their expected days?
I would not anticipate that anything related to COVID would keep you from graduating. We are going to do everything in our power to make sure that this moment in our history does not impact you in a negative way academically.
All right, Brandon. So if people have any more questions, where can they
Yeah,
reach you?
absolutely. You can hit me up on my Facebook page, Brandon K. Hersey, Seattle School Board Director, District 7. I have an Instagram account, BK Hersey. You can hit me up on my school board email, which is brandon.hersey@seattleschools.org.
As I mentioned before, this is a rapidly changing situation. We're getting new information,
Yep.
not by the day, but literally by the hour and by the minute. So, Brandon, your answers today might be different than your answers 1 week from now.
Hopefully they're very different, right? Yeah.
So, is it possible that we could do these updates
Of
weekly
course.
so that people
mean,
can stay?
I'm a teacher, so I got 6 weeks off too. So as often as we get new information, I hope that we can continue these conversations. You know, I don't know if that means like a semi-weekly, daily, whatever, however much time we have to do these types of videos. I want to make sure that we're getting the information to you as soon as we have it. And so please continue to look out for these, because this will definitely not be the last one.
Thank you so much, Brandon. Really
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
Peace. Stay safe. Wash your hands.